Hello and welcome back to my channel. Jacob Payton here, and today I'm going to be talking about Black Lotus Kiss. Another beautiful cover here for a Brimstone's File book. And it says, as rock stars die of excess and revolution fills the air, private investigator James Brimstone wanders the streets of 1970s Los Angeles, looking for low-rent cases as far as possible from his last work for hire. A run-in with the occult on a pornographic film set, but fate has a funny way of slapping Brimstone with the dark hand of magic. When a deadly attack on a veterans hall nearly kills his Korean War buddy Cactus, the only clue left behind is a leaf from the Black Lotus, a supernatural war drug used in ancient Babylonia that's turning the City of Angel citizens into sex and violent crazed maniacs. On the boardwalk between our world and nightmares, facing a mysterious creature of smoke and evil, Brimstone must face the darkness within himself to see if he too will fall victim to the Black Lotus Kiss. So this is the second Brimstone File novels, and right now it looks like it might also be the last one. I do not see another one slated anywhere, sadly. I hope another one comes out. I do really like this, but as of right now, I don't see any. There's no pre-order or anything like that, and I haven't seen anything from the author saying that a Brimstone Files novel is in the works. Like I said, I do hope there is one, because this was a really good book. I think it was even better than the first, which is pretty hard to top. Here, I think we get a better understanding of who James Brimstone is. And I think a lot of the things in this set him apart, too, from other, like, occult, private investigators, like Harry Dresden, for instance. Because here, James Brimstone is a war veteran. He's a Korean War veteran. And that plays in with the way that he handles things. He's very much like hands-on violence first and resorts to magic later. Where, Harry Dresden is a wizard. He's a wizard first, and, he'll go toe-to-toe with someone later. And I really kind of enjoy those differences there. And I also kind of like the way it talks about how the magic does spill out, right? We have this drug that people are basically using like steroids, but the problem is they either control it or it controls them, and if it controls them, it leads to these like massacres essentially. And we get kind of more into James Brimstone's private life as well, and I thought that was really interesting. Also, just his kind of constant headbutting with actual detectives and investigators was a lot of fun. The biggest thing I liked about this book is I still very much like the way that they handle magic and sorcery in this book. It's not as in your face and flashy as it is in a lot of urban fantasy books, and in fact really feels more like classic Hellblazer, if you're familiar with the John Constantine comics, where it is a lot more like mystical. It's a lot more in your head, and there are times where you'll read it, or even especially in the early John Constantine comics, where you're not really sure if magic is even real, but it is because the protagonist believes in it. But really, at the same time, you only have it through the protagonist and others that believe in it that say it's real to think that it's real, if that makes any sort of sense. And I really enjoyed that aspect, right? He is not running around Los Angeles throwing fireballs out of his hands. So it's not Sandman Slim, for instance, as a reference. It's very different. James Brimstone is very much his own thing. It's very much a 1970s noir kind of PI investigation that also centers around the occult and black magic and has all these other elements tying in. I love this book. I love this series. I really liked them kind of going into more of his background with magic, which I don't think we got a whole lot of in the first book. Right, we did get a lot. Don't get me wrong, we got a lot. But in the second book, it is really fleshing out what his mentor meant to him and kind of his own beliefs and uses when it comes to magic and stuff like that. This book just has a lot of very good character development for James Brimstone, And I really feel like, once again, there isn't a third book slated so far, it seems like, but it definitely seems like this book was written with another book in mind, so I do have hope for it there. Yeah, if you like the first book, the second book is amazing. Lots of character development, another very interesting case. I always have loved the idea of like black magic stuff kind of being used as steroids or drugs or something like that, because that's always, especially when you're talking about like Law and Order type characters, like private investigators, like it seems like the natural crossover from the occult and supernatural community to the more human and mundane community. So I really liked that, and I feel like Jason Ridler did it without being without playing into a lot of stereotypes while still hitting the right notes to certain tropes. And of course, I didn't even notice that till now, but he got a blurb for Brian Keene up here, and it says a worthy successor to the cult detectives of old by Brian Keene, who I've also reviewed on this channel. He's the author of Ghoul. He is also one of my favorite authors. He's written a whole lot of novels. He's written comics. And if you ever listen to his podcast, or really any podcast he's been on, he is also someone who very much enjoys like old school pulp novels. So he would be a great person to talk to about like to blurb this, because obviously like if he says that, he knows what he's talking about, and that's exactly what this is, right? It is pulpy, private detective fun with magic and mayhem. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this book. Get it if you read the first one and loved it. Get this book. You won't regret it. Once again, I don't know where we're going to be on a third book. I really hope one happens. Obviously, if a third book comes out, I will buy it, I will read it, I will review it on this channel. If you know anything about the third book, if it's slated, or if the series has been canceled through Nightshade, or if it's looking for a home, by all means, give us some news in the comments. And as always, if you like this book, hate this book, were mad about this book, let me know below. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.